Wow, it's kind of crazy that Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of the few Republicans and one of the few uh, Congress people and the United States government that is actually calling what the Israeli government is doing a genocide, while you have majority of the Republicans and the Democrats supporting the Israeli government and just saying that the Israeli government is just defending itself. You cannot starve people and claim self-defense because that is not how self-defense works.
This morning, the global impact of the desperation in Gaza, where the pause to let some aid in continues, but the hunger is severe. Yesterday, an airdrop of aid landing in the sea, Palestinians risking their lives for a taste of food. The Israeli government has said there is no starvation and said Hamas is behind the pain in Gaza.
There is no war, and bossing saying is what the Israeli government is doing. People can see with their own eyes what the Israeli government is doing, but the Israeli government thinks that they can just lie, 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 and that everybody has to believe them. And if you don't believe them, you're anti-Semitic. They're muddying the word anti-Semitism to mean uh, just anything that the Israeli government doesn't like.
Who is responsible for this tough reality? I answered, this is Hamas.
On his trip abroad, President Trump has spoken out. Yesterday, discussing the First Lady's reaction.
She thinks it's terrible. And those are kids, whether they talk starvation or not, those are kids that are starving.
Saying the U.S.
Yeah, kids are starving, and it's because of the Israeli government. No matter what the Israeli government says, they can blame Hamas all they want, but it isn't Hamas that is preventing aid from getting into Gaza. It is the Israeli government and various right-wing Israeli citizens that are preventing aid from getting into Gaza because these people want to watch Palestinians die because they think that they're somehow better than Palestinians and that Palestinians deserve to die. They think that Palestinian babies are evil and should be killed. It's no different than Nazi Germans who claimed Jewish babies were evil and had no issue with killing Jewish babies.
Spent $60 million for food aid and will soon open its own food centers in Gaza.
We're going to get a lot of money to the area so they can get some food.
While home in the U.S., political fallout is growing. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Trump ally, writing, "It's the most truthful and easiest thing to say that October 7th in Israel was horrific and all hostages must be returned. But so is the genocide, humanitarian crisis, and starvation happening in Gaza."
But why did October 7th happen? You gotta look at history and realize that October 7th didn't just happen out of the void. It wasn't just Hamas just, oh, I hate Jewish people, so let's attack them. The Palestinian people have been subjugated to abuse, torture, and attacks, kidnappings, and the like by the Israeli government long before October 7th. Even the United States government admitted that the Israeli government was committing human rights abuses towards Palestinians in Gaza, in the West Bank, before October 7th. So Palestinians have the right to self-defense against what is going on and what is happening to them. It's like saying that uh, Jewish people during World War II were just attacked Nazi Germans out of the void, and there was nothing that happened before that, and that Nazi Germans were just defending themselves against Jewish people. You gotta actually look at history, and if you want to deny what happened before October 7th, you are denying reality.
Israel has denied the accusation of genocide, but other Republicans disagree with Greene, and many, while condemning the hunger, say Hamas is at fault.
Good afternoon, everyone. You've got a terrorist group like Hamas operating in that region. They're going to intercept and divert a lot of that food aid that's going in there.
Yesterday,
But where's the proof that Hamas is actually diverting the food aid and starving Palestinians. There is no proof on that. That's like the Nazis saying that Jewish people weren't starving in the concentration camps, and it was just uh, a sect of Jewish people uh, diverting food aid from the Jewish people that they were trying to give food to. I the Israeli government is doing the same thing as what Nazi Germans were doing.
40 Senate Democrats sending a letter to the Trump administration pushing for more aid.
Very, very disappointing. The Netanyahu government has choked off humanitarian aid since virtually the very beginning, but most brutally recently.
While tension
I have a hard time respecting Democrats nowadays when, under the Biden administration, you had Netanyahu going to the United States Congress, giving a spiel about how George Soros is funding all the protests against the Israeli government, and you had a majority of the Democrats standing up and clapping for Benjamin Netanyahu, knowing that he is a war criminal committing genocide.
continue to be high. At a town hall in Illinois yesterday, Democratic Congressman Bill Foster repeatedly interrupted by audience members against the war. And in Gaza, the fighting crossed a grim threshold yesterday. Palestinian health officials said 60,000 people have been killed since Hamas's October 7th terror attacks in 2023.
It's more than 60,000. It's in the hundreds of thousands because there's a lot of people unaccounted for.
And yesterday, the United Kingdom said it will recognize Palestinian statehood unless Israel agrees to a ceasefire by September and improves the humanitarian situation in Gaza. That would make the UK the second G7 country to offer that recognition. Savannah?
Matt.
Okay, but why give it a condition that they will only recognize Palestine as a state if the Israeli government doesn't stop? Why not just recognize it as a state now and fight against